So Chris Paul took 16 years. It took 16 years for Chris Paul to finally get to an NBA Finals. He got there this year. They won. They were up 2-0. Everyone was very excited to see Chris Paul win, and it didn't end up happening. What does this mean? That Chris Paul didn't win the championship this year. What does it mean for his legacy? Does it impact his legacy in any way, either negative or positive?
I don't think it necessarily can impact it negatively, considering the fact he'd never been there. You know what I mean? This was his first time there, and the biggest thing, like one of the biggest knocks on him, was he couldn't even get to the chip. Well, now he finally got to the chip. He couldn't finish it. There were a lot of guys that got to the chip in the '90s, '80s that just couldn't finish it. Chris Paul, his career is not over yet. Chris Paul could come back and win it next year, depending on whether he goes back to Phoenix or whether he signs elsewhere. We don't know, so the jury's still out on him. I don't think this could possibly hurt Chris Paul's legacy. It can only help, considering the fact he'd never been there before.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the fact that he got there, the fact that Chris Paul got there, it was never about like, I don't think it was ever about actually even winning the championship. It was about getting that opportunity to get there and try. That's what it was always about, I think, for Chris Paul. It's always about for fans. They wanted to see Chris Paul in an NBA Finals. And whether he won or lost, that was up to his team. That was up to him at the end of the day, and then what happened, right? But I think getting to see him compete and in that setting was so great because it added to the drama of the NBA Finals. Also, you saw him. At least he can say, like, when he retires, when he eventually goes into the Hall of Fame, because he will be a Hall of Famer. When he eventually goes into the Hall of Fame, he can say that I did it. I got to the finals. It didn't happen, but I have no reservations because I got there. We tried our best, and we didn't get, and like we didn't. It didn't happen because not everyone wins a championship. Not everyone. There are so many great players, Hall of Fame, all-time great players who don't win a championship. Charles Barkley, one of them.
How many guys were on the Dream Team? How many members of the Dream Team didn't win a chip?
Thank you. Exactly. So I don't even think it doesn't hurt his legacy. I think the fact that he got there, that helped his legacy so much because there's so many haters. Like the basketball world is full of haters. There's so many haters on Chris Paul. They unjustifiably hate on him, hate on his game, hate on his personality. And it's weird because he's actually, like, if you look at it, he's one of those players like you want to root for because like he gives it all for his team. Every time these types of things happen, like every time his team gets close, he eventually gets injured because he's the one giving it his all every time. He makes people around him better. That has been the story about him throughout his entire career. He always makes the people around him better. He makes the teams around him better. Look what he did to the Suns this year. He is the offseason acquisition of the year last year, period. There's no question about it. I'm glad he got the MVP votes because he deserved it. But Chris Paul's legacy for having played in these finals, I think has gotten immensely larger and more impactful than it was before he got there. And I'm glad to see it. Just because he didn't win is not a knock on his legacy. I think that's a terrible way to judge, all players. I don't think that's a good way to judge all players, right? When you're making comparisons about all-time greats, like who's better, then that's when you bring that in. But to knock someone who especially where he is at his career now, I think for people to do that, it's out of pocket.
I agree. I mean, I don't have much to say. I mean, Chris Paul, he's been an ambassador.
That's a first.
I mean, dude, he's been an ambassador to the game for so long and everything. As much as a lot of people wanted to see him win, that one team's got to win, one team's got to lose. Listen, as much as a lot of people might not be happy that Chris Paul won, or didn't win and everything like that, you got to be happy for Giannis, dude. I mean, fucking A, dude. How many times was this dude the 1 seed and got knocked out? Like, how many times is it supposed to be? It was supposed to be this guy's year. And listen, if we weren't bashing, because now people want to bash Chris Paul, someone's got to get bashed. If they weren't bashing Chris Paul for, what I'm saying? Like, if Chris Paul was getting praise right now, guess who'd be getting bashed? Giannis. So
thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.